If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? Well, that depends if you were there. So if you were there and it made a sound, it made a sound. Now, what that saying is trying to say is that objects become mirrors. We interpret things through objects. Now, because we are an object as well, we then think the object comes from us. We think our interpretation of the object makes the object. So there's the objects, there's the setting, and then there's how we relate to it. So the earth is a mirror. It mirrors emotions. There's a physical realm, and then there's emotional realms. So whether you believe the earth is a spinning ball or the earth is a flat plane, it is still a mirror. And what it mirrors is emotions. So if you believe the earth is a spinning ball, it's because you want to partner with that worldview, what that allows you to perceive to be real. If the earth is a spinning ball, then space is a place that you can go to. The earth lives in space, and space can be colonized. Space can create new life. Space can have other planets and other earths. A planet is a plane for your mind, a mirror for your mind, a plane, and then a net, a plan net, a planet, a plane net, and then in that net, create your memories, your hopes and your dreams, your desires, and then you mirror it off of the objects. And you want to get in a rocket ship and then objectively go to this place called outer space and create new life. But the only thing we can do in life is create what we know. And the only way to know something is to download it through your senses. And it's going to be something that we've already experienced, something that we've already seen, something that we've already smelled, and something that we've already touched. It tastes like chicken. What does chicken taste like? Well, it tastes like a piece of meat with a certain kind of flavors. What does alligator taste like? Well, they say it tastes like chicken because chicken's very common. And that's what we do in life. We do things and then we name things. But because we are a thing, we think the things come from us. And then we become emotionally attached to objects. And then we think we can control the objects if we can control the setting, if we can control the mirror, the mediator. So every religion has a mediator. God is too powerful in the Christian sense to touch God, so you got to use Jesus as the mediator, and then he allows you to connect to God. Because God's a power source. He's like a shape. He's like a light beam that puts out shapes, and then he connects to you and makes you a shape. But because you want the emotional experience, once the emotional experience touches you, you're not going to want to recognize God as God. You're going to want to recognize you as the creator. So he makes you use a mediator in the spirit world called Jesus to then connect to God. But on the physical world, we can't create anything that we can't see. So we can create ourselves through having a child. The scientists want to have child through not using men and women, and they want to use test tube babies, and they want to use geoengineering and geocloning to become God, become the creator. They want to have an artificial life. They want to have artificial food. They want to have artificial babies, and they want to have a world within a world that's run through the computers. It's like a fifth dimensional state where we take our emotions and then we become a God, we become a creator. Now the lie is first and foremost that there isn't someone powering it like a Mark Zuckerberg that's writing the code and then getting us, like a David Rockefeller, he's his son, and then getting us to then live in his computer world. That's what's going on. But it's also another lie that it actually works, and it's not just pure death. It's pure death. Those mirrors mirror death. When you take ayahuasca and you take DMT, or you just dream and go to a dream state, you're not in this kind of life. You're not connecting it to objects, so you don't really remember it. It fades out when you're not there because you can't code it with the senses. You have to run to your friends and tell them your dream, or it just wears off really fast. I've never done the DMT or the ayahuasca and go into those dream states, but I do dream. And then I feel like I remember them because I was there, man. Ooh, I was there. But I don't remember it. I can't tell you. And if I try to tell you the story, it's going to be a lot of, what it was like, and then it's going to be a lot of pauses. Oh, it was like this, and it'll be a lot of pauses. It was mirrors, energy mirrors in my body through chemicals called tryptophans, DMT, whatever that stands for. And it was producing an emotional state in my body. But I was trapped. My dreams are always like, I'm trying to do something and I can't. It's usually I'm at work or something and I can't like accomplish my task. I'm trying to play basketball and I can't like run. I can't like move. I have to like crawl and then I can't. My dreams are weird. And then as soon as you're gonna win, you wake up from your dream. In this state, someone has created a dream state by first and foremost giving us to live in their worldview. And their worldview is that you can change the creation using the creation. That's pantheism, all God in a one God system, and then evolution teaches us to become a God through their system. And it has to be in their system. The problem with disproving this lie is in their mind it's true. They've believed it to be true. There's nothing I can do to convince a heliocentrist not a globe. They just want it to be a globe. I could probably get the high priest of NASA, and I could probably get the Scott Kellys. We could probably catch them when they're at the grocery store when they say they're supposed to be at the ISS. We could probably catch them, and they could just tell another lie. They'll just lie. I don't know how. It's possible maybe one day we could catch them enough and get them to admit, no, we lied. But they still believe it's possible to go there. That's what they're going to say. They're going to say, yeah, the rocket ships go up and then they go out into the ocean and that's where we spend the billions of dollars doing because we believe it's possible to go to outer space. But yeah, it is true. No one's ever been there. No one's ever left 120,000 feet. No one's ever left the firmament. It's just, there's no proof of if they're being completely honest. Now, that's the only way we could prove it if they were just completely honest. But because they want it, because they want to use a mirror that then reflects back on themselves. God reflects himself back on you, but it does it in a way that you know you're not God, you're not the creator. And that's what people don't like, and their pride won't allow them to then recognize God. So then we use fake gods to then reflect it back to us. So the heathens, they're self-worshippers, and they use the earth. So they're the earth worshippers. That's what the climate change hoax is about. So first the earth was getting warmer when it's getting colder. And now we have to pay sacrifices. We have to use electric cars. We have to can't use plastics. Some of the stuff is good. Some of the pollution and plastics causes cancer and stuff, and it's not good. But they're doing it as a way to worship them. They don't necessarily, they throw their trash on the ground. If you go to any Democratic city, I lived in Los Angeles for a while, I live in New York City, they throw the trash on the ground. And they're Democrats. They're all Democrats. Even the neocons, they throw their trash on the ground. They'd say, oh, the government picks it up for me with their street sweeper. No, it doesn't. The street sweeper pushes it to the curb and into the water systems, and then it pollutes the water more. And the kids throw their trash on the ground and go, oh, the government picks it up for me. Because they think they're gods. They use the earth as a mediator to them to be gods, and then they throw their trash on the ground to get people to worship them more, and they won't even follow their own system. Solar doesn't work well. It just doesn't work well. It's too expensive, and then the government sells it back to you because they're doing the same thing. They're trying to get you to worship them. It's all about worship. Worship is just time and energy. And it's a big game of King of the Mountain. It's a big pyramid system where everybody's pushing each other down the pyramid. Once you got to get people up the pyramid so there is a pyramid, and then you got to push them down and play a game, and you're just manipulating the wealth. And the Democrats don't know. I call them Democrats because Democrat means the God of the people, the demos. On the money it says, from the many one. So we all join this system, and then the winner of the system becomes the God. Well, how do you join the system? It's got to be good for you. Well, they lie and say it's good for everybody, and they're going to create a government that helps everybody out and is all fair. Because they don't like rich people because rich people earned it. But rich people did, it is true, they did not earn it. And I do agree with Democrats that there is a buy-in price, and their parents left them the money, and then they did the work, and then they created a bunch of laws to screw everybody over and keep everybody out. And I agree with them. I'm a libertarian. I don't want those laws, and I don't want them to get ahead, and I don't want the printing of money and the devaluation of money, and I don't want more laws to keep people from doing business. You let competition come in, and then competition weeds out the corruption. Don't allow government to take a paycheck, and then it's a get what you pay for, and then the people that actually want, well, what about the poor? We'll go help them. Go help them, and you'll have more money to help them, and you get to spend your money to help them. But what happens? Oh, we give the money to government. Government then siphons the money back, and then the people that work for government, and most of them are Democrats, some are Republicans, and they all siphon the money back to themselves, and they're rich. My brother works for the government. He's a lobbyist. He takes money from the government. They all do it. They all do it in government. Trump said he was going to stop it, and he didn't. They're using it as an mediator. Heathens are self-worshippers. They use the government, they use the earth to use it as a mediator to make themselves gods, to mirror things back to themselves. The pagans are star worshippers. They use that as a mediator to get you to worship them. They use the symbols of the stars first and foremost to create the calendar and to create the clock. The time system we are on is all about money. It was created by bankers to make money. Go look into it. It's called Greenwich Mean Time. And Greenwich Mean Time sets the sun and everybody's sun at noon based on where the stock market is. So at the time the stock market was in London, so you figure out where the sun is at noon compared to their sun at noon and how many hours difference, and that becomes time because it was all about trading money, and then the trading of money, that then set the value of the price of the goods and services. And they use the stock market to rig the prices of goods and services. When there's a famine and when there's a flood, does that really force the price of rice and corn and sugar and metals and wood and whatever else to go down? Maybe a little bit, but shouldn't the business owners have to pick that up? Oh no, they get us to do it by using the stock market system, by trading it, and then they pass on that price to us, and they say, oh, this is why the price went down. Oh, because there was a war. Oh, because there was a drought. And they use that as an mediator. And the pagans use the symbols of the stars to create our calendar and to create our clock. And it's not even a very good calendar, and it's not even a very good clock. It's okay, but it's not perfect. The flat earthers have a good one, by the way. And the flat earthers don't need you to use us as an mediator. The earth isn't our mediator. We're not worshiping the earth. We're not forcing you to bow down to the earth. We're not creating a symbol of the earth and then we bow down to the earth. We're not doing that. We're saying the earth is objectively flat, and in that object, we're just going to trade our time with each other and not screw each other over. We're not going to lie to each other, and we're not going to lie to each other about the objects. We're going to call the objects what they are. If it's flat, it's flat. If it's stationary, it's stationary. And if it's not, how would you know? The Globers gotta know because they gotta be better than other people, and they need a mediator for that. They need a globe. How would you ever know if we didn't give money and all collectively give money to NASA to then find out that it's a globe? By putting someone in a rocket ship. Because the only way you can really know is by getting in a rocket ship. I'm not getting in a rocket ship because I believe they fake it. We can know it's not by getting in a boat and going due west and seeing if we come out the other side. It would prove to me that we didn't come out the other side. And if we did, I'd be willing to admit it. And we could film it, and we could do it. It's called the Flat Earth Challenge, and we're going to do it. Details are coming out soon. There is a God. There is a creator. We do live in a creation, whether that's a globe or a flat plane. If you don't want to recognize that creator, and you don't want to reflect your light back to him and reflect your energy back to him, you do not have to do it. He doesn't force you to do it. The Christian God and the God of the Bible does not force you to do it. He still gives you shelter, and he still gives you life in this existence, in this plane. But because you don't want to do it, then you're playing a game of King of the Mountain with everybody else. And if you don't call on him and you don't use him, then it's going to become a hell on this earth. And that's what it's become because David Rockefeller has become God. Warren Buffett has become God. And then as high priest of the people on TV teaching us to energetically give them through their mediator, not to them. I don't worship Neil deGrasse Tyson, but if I was a Glober, I would think he's cool because he's clever at speaking of globe Earth. No, I think he's a liar and I think he's an actor, but I give him credit because I think he's a good one. Eric Dubé is a good flat earther. He's a good teacher. I don't worship the guy. I consider him a friend. He's a good teacher, and he also isn't a Christian, but he's not afraid to say there's a God, and it's probably the Christian God. He just doesn't want to worship him, and I find that admirable, that he doesn't want me to worship him, and he doesn't force me to worship his God. He doesn't force me to worship his system of Godhood, and I think that's cool. And you guys are using mirrors, and you're using mirrors of the earth to get us to worship you. And I don't want to worship you, and your mirrors are fake.